Once the virus started spreading around the world, people realized that it was affecting people's lungs. And to really alleviate that pain, doctors needed to rely on ventilators. And at that moment of time, there was less than 100,000 ventilators around the world to actually support doctors in their job. We needed to contribute somehow to this topic. And there were many things at need. As an example, at that time, there was a shortage of masks and gloves and gowns and shields. The ventilator specifically was a challenge we weren't 100% sure that we can tackle, but we felt we had the right, at least, skill set to try. And we didn't think much. We said, let's start by building a prototype and iterate on that topic.
We did our research, we looked into it for the first 2 weeks, we read up a lot on international devices, and we also kind of chose our benchmark. Yeah, so we want to see where do we want to stand internationally with all those devices out there, and that was a tricky challenge. We looked at extremely high-end ventilators, which have been decades in R&D and millions of dollars of funding behind it from international, multinational companies. And we looked at simple job shop prototypes and trying to make the best hybrid, which also matched the capabilities we had in hands.
The prototypes that we did were mainly 3 prototypes, EVT1, EVT2, EVT3. These are engineering and validation testing. The first one did not look like a ventilator. It was a bunch of actuators and solenoid valves and electronics that we brought together just to test and simulate how the patient would breathe. The second one, a little bit more advanced, until we move to the third one. And of course, between these 3 prototypes, we have been in constant talk with the Ministry of Health. They were very helpful with us to provide us with a couple of doctors who are really experienced in ventilators. So we would do video calls and they would be commenting on the hardware and the software and the special modes that are required for the COVID patient. And this is how we upgrade and develop and optimize our processes, our hardware and software.
We're actually quite proud to say that most of the software has been designed and developed in-house in the UAE by UAE local hands. Systems were developed using hardware that was very easily available, systems that were easily available that we could get our hands on. A lot of the focus has been in order to keep the system open as much as possible and scalable and flexible in order to be able to have continuous development and growth. The project took place at the time when we were in the peak lockdown. So the whole city, the whole country is at home. Yet we were coming here to the lab. We had to maintain social distancing. We had to wear our masks. It was a very interesting social dynamic that you had to work with in developing a product. So I would say what we learned is how interesting and how the ability of human beings is to adapt to even the toughest situations and to be able to come out with a product such as a ventilator in such a short period of time of 61 days.
Thankfully, it's been an amazing experience working with the artificial intelligence team. With our collected backgrounds and our passion for technology and innovation, the motive and the goal of co-creating with one another was very, very strong.
Working on the ventilator made us realize that we should be supporting the market in what the market needs. And this is the best and the most honest way to ensure impact. If somebody asked me before COVID, should we work in the medical field? Most probably I wouldn't even have thought about it. But what has happened is showed us that we have the skill sets to work on the sectors of the market that we think are strategic and we think are important. So what comes after the vent? I hope something as relevant as the vent for other sectors.
I think the journey of the M061 ventilator will always be special for the Dubai Future Labs. Not because it's the first experiment that went through this lab, but also because of the success and the challenging times that we went through COVID-19. We're extremely proud that the product itself was successful, but what we are proud of most is the experience and the knowledge that all the people involved in this product have went through. And it's our role at Dubai Future Foundation is to ensure that this knowledge transfer gets disseminated and this knowledge transfer gets through to even more talented individuals and across more sectors and more experiments at the Dubai Future Foundation. This is something challenging, this is something risky, and we understand that failure could be an option, but this is the nature of our leaders. We open up, we take risks, and we make big bets. And this is how we succeed and we become a forefront city and a leading city of the future.